Everyone's talking about the iPhone 17 Pro's new design, but they've got it all wrong. You've seen the leaks, you've heard the rumors. That sleek horizontal camera setup everyone's been sharing? Yeah, that's not happening. But what Apple's actually doing is way more interesting, and it might just show us where the company is headed. I've seen the real design, and trust me, it's going to split the tech world in half. Stick around, because I'm going to show you why this could be Apple's most controversial move since ditching the headphone jack. The iPhone 16 Pro played it safe last year. Real safe. Apple stuck to their usual playbook. Same design, better chip, fancier camera tricks. And let's be honest, that strategy worked fine when they were the only game in town. But 2025, that's a whole different story. See, while Apple was perfecting their tried-and-true formula, something big was happening. Google dropped their Pixel 9 with mind-blowing AI features. Samsung's Galaxy S25 brought foldable tech to the mainstream. And don't even get me started on what Chinese brands are doing with camera innovation. For the first time in forever, Apple's feeling the heat. It's not just about having the best hardware anymore, it's about who's leading the AI revolution. When Google's Gemini started running circles around Apple's basic Siri, even die-hard iPhone fans started asking questions. And those questions got louder when ChatGPT basically moved into every Android phone. This is exactly why 2025 is shaking things up. Apple's not just competing with better cameras or faster processors anymore, they're in a race to prove they can still innovate. That's where this new iPhone design comes in. And trust me, it's not just about looking different. It's Apple's way of saying, hey, we can still surprise you. You know those iPhone leaks flooding your social feed? The ones with that clean horizontal camera bar that looks straight out of a concept designer's dreams? Well, there's something nobody's talking about. The reason why that design is basically impossible. Here's the thing about iPhone cameras that most people don't realize. That weird triangle camera layout on current iPhones, it's not just Apple being Apple, it's actually an engineering necessity. See, up in the top portion of your iPhone, there's this complex maze of Face ID sensors and cameras hidden behind that dynamic island. And all that tech takes up way more space than you'd think. That's where things get interesting. When you see those leaked renders with cameras lined up in a perfect row near the top, that's physically impossible, unless Apple somehow figured out how to break the laws of physics, or crammed Face ID components into a space the size of a grain of rice. Spoiler alert, they haven't. But here's where Apple pulled a classic Apple move. Instead of fighting these limitations, they embraced them. The actual design I've seen takes that camera layout constraint and turns it into something unexpected. The real design isn't just different, it's bold in a way that makes you wonder if Apple's finally ready to take some risks. And before you ask, yes, I'm about to show you exactly what it looks like. But first, you need to understand why this change is about way more than just aesthetics. It's not the horizontal camera bar everyone expected, it's something more ambitious. Picture this, the classic triangular camera layout stays put, but it's now housed in this wider, darker bar that stretches across most of the phone's back. The flash and mic? They're tucked away on the right side, giving the whole thing this asymmetrical look that's totally different from any iPhone we've seen before. The size of this camera bar is what's really turning heads. It's significantly taller than the current camera bump. We're talking about a serious piece of real estate on the back of your phone. But unlike those clean, minimal renders you've seen online, this design embraces the asymmetry. It's like Apple looked at the Pixel's camera bar and thought, hold my beer, let's make this interesting. Now, let's talk materials, because this is where things get mysterious. The phones I've seen feel noticeably lighter, but that weight reduction? That's something every iPhone user will notice the moment they pick it up. But this redesign isn't just about looks. This new camera bar could change how you actually use your iPhone. Think about it. No more wobble when you put your phone on a table. The wider surface area might even help with heat dissipation, which has been a hot topic, pun intended, with recent iPhones. Plus, that lighter weight could make a big difference for anyone who's tired of their Pro Max feeling like a brick in their pocket. The real question is, did Apple make these changes because they wanted to, or because they had to? Well, that brings us to the most interesting part of this story. This new iPhone design isn't just similar to the Pixel's camera bar. It's almost like Apple's admitting that Google was onto something. But this isn't just about copying homework. It's about a fundamental shift in how Apple operates in 2025. Remember the old Apple? The one that would wait years to perfect a feature while everyone else rushed ahead? That Apple is changing. Just look at how they handled their AI rollout. Instead of their usual, it's perfect or it's not shipping approach, they pushed out Apple Intelligence as a work in progress. They actually started competing in real time with Google and Microsoft, something we've never seen before. This iPhone design tells the same story. Apple isn't just sitting in their Cupertino bubble anymore, perfecting things in secret. They're actively responding to market pressure. When Google's Pixel cameras kept winning blind tests, when Samsung's AI features made Siri look ancient, Apple had to react. This new design isn't just about aesthetics, it's Apple showing they're ready to play a different game. Think about it. Apple's greatest strength was always their ecosystem, their ability to say, "Trust us, we know what's best." But in 2025, that's not enough anymore. Users want AI that actually works. They want camera systems that don't need perfect lighting. They want innovation that keeps up with the speed of tech, not just Apple's preferred timeline. This brings us to a bigger question. Is this new, more reactive Apple actually better for us as users? We're watching Apple's philosophy shift in real time, and this new iPhone design is just the beginning. See, Apple's not just changing how their phones look, they're changing how they compete in the market, and that's huge for what comes next. Think about Apple's usual game plan. They take their time, perfect a feature, then present it as the only way you'd ever want to do things. But this new design, it shows Apple's finally ready to admit that good ideas can come from anywhere. And that opens up a whole new world of possibilities for future iPhones. We might be entering an era where Apple moves faster, takes more risks, and actually responds to what users want, not just what Apple thinks they should want. But there's a catch. This new approach could also shake up Apple's reputation as the trendsetter. Right now, some hardcore Apple fans are probably feeling uneasy. After all, isn't Apple supposed to be the company that leads, not follows? That's why I predict we'll see a split in how people react to this phone. The tech enthusiasts will probably celebrate Apple's newfound flexibility, while the purists might see it as Apple losing their way. The real power move, though, would be if Apple manages to thread the needle, taking inspiration from others while still maintaining that special Apple magic. Because let's be honest, when Apple decides to copy something, they usually end up doing it better than the original. Just look at how they handled widgets, or even the App Store. What's truly fascinating about all this is how it positions Apple for the next big tech revolution. Whether that's AI, AR glasses, or something we haven't even imagined yet. Remember when I said this design change wasn't what you think? Well, now you know. It's not just about a camera bar or a new look. It's about Apple finally reading the room. They're not just changing the iPhone's design, they're changing how they compete in 2025 and beyond. Is this a desperate move from a company feeling the pressure? Or is it actually Apple at their smartest, knowing when to adapt instead of stubbornly sticking to their guns? I think it's both. And that's what makes this moment so crucial. The iPhone 17 Pro isn't just another iPhone, it's a signal that Apple's ready to play a different game. Whether that's good or bad, well, that's where you come in. Drop a comment below with your take. Is this new Apple better for us as users, or are they losing what made them special? If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Trust me, with Apple making moves like this, you won't want to miss what happens next. Catch you in the next one.